Good evening, all. Welcome to day 2 of the insurance review. So, day before yesterday, we were looking at the need for life insurance and how the term plan actually serves the purpose of the life protection, basically. So, in continuation with that, we'll go into today's session. I think all of you were there in the first day's session, so I'll not go into the introduction again. So just a few words of caution before we go into the other part, saying, because this is something that I had promised in the day 1. Yes, the term plan will cover me when I am not there. So it will protect my family members. But what if I am there and then I need some money? So that we will discuss immediately after this. But before that, there are certain things that we should never do related to the insurance part. So these are things that we should not have at all. The first part is your single premium plans with 105% cover or no cover kind of things. Because they don't have any cover. So why should I, without any cover, why should I go into a life insurance company for that matter? If it is only a fixed deposit, why should I not go into a corporate company or a bank or something like that? Why should I be going to a insurance company for just a fixed deposit kind of a product? There is no need for that at all. So there is no cover, no returns, and when there is very little cover, as per the current IRDA and income tax rules, you should have at least 10 times the premium as cover. Only then you will get some tax benefits. So when you are talking about single premium cover and plans with very little cover, then the entire amount that you receive from the insurance company at the end of the term, let's say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever that may be, the whole amount will be taxable in your hands. So it does not serve any purpose there. And life cover for children, again, see, when the insurance plan starts when you have an earning member. So that is the basic thing for life insurance. When I don't have an earning, then it does not make economic sense to have a life insurance part. And what would I do when I have cover for my child, minor child? Major children, fine. So maybe they can go to job. They're already studying, doing something and all that. So maybe we can look at some covers. But there are some plans in the market which talks about taking a cover on the name of the child. So when the child is not there, the parents will get the money. What I don't really understand what is the point behind that. What will I do with that money as a parent, as a father? When my daughter is not there, I get some money. What do I do with that money? Will I even be comfortable touching that and using that for my life? I don't think so. So it doesn't make any sense when we give cover to our children who are minor, that too. And anyway, as per IRDA norms, there is no cover for children up to the age of 7 because of the typical health-related conditions. They could lose their life at much earlier ages. So any cover will start only after 7. So till 7, there is no this thing. And anyway, none of the companies provide a term plan for children. So that is also made clear. So we have, I think, already discussed enough, saying only term plan is the right plan. So when somebody is not giving a term plan, I should not take the cover. As simple as that. And pension plans in today's condition, there again, they don't make any sense at all. Because there is no exempt this thing, everything is taxed. So it doesn't make any sense. And we are talking about 4.5%, 5% as returns. So they don't really make sense. So we'll have to plan for our retirement. We'll have to plan for our pension. But the current pension plans, they don't make any sense. I'm talking about pension plans that you can buy by making a deposit. I'm not talking about government offered pension plans. They are a different category altogether. I'm talking about pension plans where we keep on investing and then there is a corpus and we go in for the getting the pension and those kind of things. They don't make any sense at all. And post-retirement today, again, typically for salaried employees and other people, we have covers which are going up to 99 years, 100 years, till you die and all those things. may really not make much sense, but today I'm recommending that at least till the age of 75 we can have covers for which the premium can be paid till you retire, and then the cover to be extended till we are 75. So that way we can leave a legacy for our children, our legal heirs, kind of things. So now coming to one of the main climaxes, I mean the peak points of today's session. What about money when I survive? It's a very simple formula, one line formula, invest the difference, as simple as that. So let's see what this basically means. I'll zoom it up a bit so that, okay. So here I'm considering somebody who's earning a salary of 25,000 per year. So the annually they can pay a premium of 25,000 for an endowment plan. So where do I get this particular thing from? I'll just share that thing also with you. This comes from JK's 8% formula. JK is me, J Karthikeyan. So I have developed this particular formula called JK's 8% formula, wherein for different income groups, we are working on a formula which is 8% of the annual income to go into different categories. So when I'm looking at life insurance and health insurance, 8% of your annual income can be spent towards life insurance and health insurance. So that is an allowed thing. This is based on me working with around 10,000 of my customers and trainees. And based on that, I've analyzed and arrived at this particular formula. And why that 8%? In fact, the logic is a rounding off of one particular aspect, which is 8.33, which is your monthly income. That 0.333 is very difficult to retain in the mind, so I've kept it at 8%. Yes, sir. What is your doubt? I can't see your name. It only says D05. You put something in the chat? No. So in case you have any queries, you can raise a hand and unmute yourself and post your question at any point in time. You are free to ask questions at any point in time. I would prefer to answer your queries while we are discussing that particular point itself. That way, I can clarify everything at that moment itself. Okay. Fine. So can I continue? I'm not able to see your name, D05EB190. Can you please post your question? You raised a hand. Okay, fine. When you're comfortable, you can post it maybe. Let me continue with the session. So this is the logic behind this particular formula for financial wellness. So we can go up to 8%, which is 1 month's salary for life and health insurance. So what do we do typically is the first query. So typically it goes into an endowment plan, right? So where something will come back, a typical savings plan kind of a system. So what happens when I do that, 1 month salary, if I were to put it there, 25,000 I pay yearly. I get a life cover of 5 lakhs, and the premium I pay for only 16 years, and the maturity amount is 25 years. So this is a typical endowment plan which is available in the market, wherein typically the way it is pitched is that the way the agent pitches it to us is to say that, sir, you pay only 4 lakhs rupees throughout the term, but the actual life cover itself is 5 lakhs. So there also you get some benefits. Plus, at the time of maturity, you get 12.5 lakhs. So which is 3 times what you have paid. which is fantastic, which appears to be fantastic. So, and most of us are happy, and we also get some money back. So we are all very comfortable with this kind of situation, and we just go for it. But let's see the alternative. What is the alternative? Take up and is this cover enough? That is the first question. So this cover is definitely not enough. You would we have already done those calculations. So who can tell me what is how many multiples or how many times of the monthly income should we have as the minimum cover? You can put it in the chat. Wow, fantastic. Very happy. Kashishwar, Mr. Satish, Vinod. Excellent, excellent. So the minimum cover that we need to have is around 200 times. Yes, Mr. Anandakrishnan? You're not able to unmute or what? Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, so there's some technical issues there. Fine. So we need at least that 200 times, right? So let's now look at that, close to that. So this person is spending something also. So we are typically looking at somewhere around slightly less than that 200. So this is an actual calculation from one of my clients' requirement actually. I won't share any names in any of my sessions, but there's an actual calculation. So his actual term cover requirement comes to close to 43 lakhs. It should have been ideally been 50 this thing. So he's maybe spending something on himself. So roughly around 20,000 is what he's going to give to his family. So from that 20,000 into 200 means roughly around 40 lakhs. So for this particular friend of ours, it comes to 42 lakhs 90,000 rupees as the minimum cover that this person should have. Now look at the term insurance premium that he needs to pay. 10,000 rupees only. And what can we do with the rest of the money? Because anyway, we have planned for 25,000 rupees to go out. So what can we do? The rest of the money we can invest. I'm not looking at savings. I'm not looking at putting it into an endowment plan. I'm looking at investing it properly. In the next 3 sessions, starting from Sunday and Wednesday and all those, we'll be going deep into this particular aspect on where to invest, how to invest, at what time should we invest where. So those kind of things we'll be looking at in detail. So today for now, just understand that we are looking at a mutual fund which can give roughly around 12% per annum, which is very, very much achievable. So in this case, when this 14,900 is invested for the 16 years only on a regular basis, after that I just leave the money in, I don't add any additional money. The total money that I can have in hand will be close to 20 lakhs. Right? Now, let us look at the differences between these two. Earlier, when I had put my money into an endowment plan, what was the cover that I was able to get? I was able to get only 5 lakhs right here, which is not enough. Now I'm able to get enough of insurance as per my dependence requirements, as per what I give to my family for their expenses. So I get enough of cover, 42 or close to 43 lakhs. Plus, if I had been investing here or saving in the endowment plan, I would have got only 12.5 lakhs. Here, I'm getting 19.8 lakhs. So I'm getting much better cover. Instead of 5, I'm getting 8 times more, 8.5 times more cover, plus 1.5 times more return also on money. So when I'm there, I'm getting 1.5 times more cash on hand. And if I'm not there, my family will get 8.5 times more money to support themselves. Isn't that a wonderful solution? So this is what we should all be doing here. This is what we should all be doing. Take up the term plan, and whatever is the budget, that 1 month's income that we had planned for this, put it into the other fund. Okay. So now supposing the person's age is a bit more, then what happens? So let's look at one more age group. So here I had initially taken for a lesser age group, 25-year-old. Now let's look at the same thing for a slightly older age group. Then see what happens. So this is here, and 12,230 is for a slightly older age group. '30-year-old person. So again, cover is fully taken. What you invest is lesser. So here, instead of 19 lakhs and odd, here we are making some close to 17 lakhs. Still not bad, right? Still definitely some 50% more compared to what I'm getting here. So for different age groups, though the premium is more, we still get much better returns. Okay. So there is money to support myself when I'm there. So we need to balance for both. So that balancing is what we have seen now to be happening.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, you have mentioned that 12% on mutual funds.
Correct.
Is it will come 12% yearly?
Yeah, 12% compounded on an annual basis.
Exactly
For the long term.
12%.
Correct.
Okay. And the same time, you have mentioned that 42 lakhs. Is it to, suppose I have met accident before the maturity period, like total 16 years, na?
Yeah.
The entire amount of 42 lakhs be given to family?
Correct. Exactly. Correct.
Even within
During
1
that
year?
period, during that 25 years, in case the insured person is not there, then that 42 lakhs 90,000 will be given to the insured's family.
Sir, suppose you have said that 16 years, you have to pay 16 years.
Correct.
And before the, after 1 year, I have met accident, the amount will be given, total 42 lakhs.
Correct.
Okay. Even before 1 year also come or not, will not occur?
I have taken premiums for 25 years. So it is not for 16 years. It is for 25 years. During that 25 years, anything happens, then the family will get 42 lakhs 90,000. And after 25 years, when I am there, I will get that 17,000 rupees, lakhs rupees.
16-17 lakhs for mutual fund.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly. So if I'm not there, the family will get the insurance claim. If I am there, I will get money from the mutual fund. So both are taken care of. You get it? Any other doubts? Yes, Mr. Vinod.
No.
You're saying it's difficult to identify good funds which give returns around 12%. No, it is actually easy. When you look for 10 years terms, when you look at 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you cannot identify them because the market itself has not been performing well during the last 5 years. But when you look at 10 years or 15 years, then you will identify these good funds. There are many such funds which are giving you good returns. In fact, the average market returns over a 20-year period is somewhere around 15%. I've been very conservative. That's why I've taken only 12%. So it is actually easy to identify such funds which can give us 12%. So any other queries at this particular time?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. So we'll go ahead for the next part, which is the health insurance plans. See, there's a big difference between health insurance plans and life insurance plans. Life insurance plans are declared plans, which means there is a declared benefit. Something happens, then the benefit is already pre-declared, so that entire amount will be given. So it is a declared benefit plan. Those are all life insurance plans. But health insurance plans, you will find two different types of plans. One, most of the health insurance plans, in fact, are indemnity plans. There are a few declared benefit plans also. So what do we mean by indemnity? Indemnity basically is based on the oldest form of insurance itself. So what is that particular form? It basically means loss of a few people shared by many people. So that is the basic concept of insurance itself. So let's understand this in a bit more deeper sense. What is this loss of few? When we are taking up insurance plans, that in a given year or in a given month or in a given week or in any given period, only few people will meet with any untoward incident. Not everyone will face any dangers or difficulties or losses. So for the few people who have actually suffered that loss, all the people who have paid the premium, they are compensating together to support the person who has lost, who has suffered the loss. So that is the basic principle of any insurance. So that is where this particular terminology is used in insurance companies, where we talk about loss of few shared by many. So when many people are contributing and one person or only a few people are enjoying that or getting compensated for the loss, we also need one more responsibility. The insurance company also bears one more responsibility, which is that the person who has suffered the loss should not be making a gain from the loss. This is a very subtle thing that we need to understand. If I have lost something worth 10,000 rupees, then I should be compensated for a maximum of 10,000 rupees only. I cannot be compensated for 10,001 rupee. Why is that? Because that 1 rupee additionally will be coming in from the pocket of so many people who are contributed for compensating for this loss. So if this one additional rupee goes to one person who has made a loss, then over a period of time, there will not be any money available in the kitty itself. So we should not give anything more than the loss suffered. It can be lesser. It can never be more. So that is the principle of indemnity. So you cannot make a profit from a loss. So this is something that we need to understand very, very clearly. And this is applicable for almost all the health insurance plans. So generally what happens is, whenever there is a first health insurance claim in anybody's family, there will always be a bitter taste, because the insurance company will come back and say, no, this is not claimable, that is not claimable, the bill is so much, you'll need to pay so much, and all those things. Where does this confusion come from? The confusion comes because, let's take this typical example. This patient is admitted in a hospital and this person is in ICU. So what happens to the people, the attenders, so-called attenders, or the patient's relatives who are there in the hospital? They will say, see, I cannot always be sitting in the veranda. Give me a room. Give me the room for the patient and we will stay there. The hospital will say, fine, we are sanctioning a room, so you can stay in that room. Now, should the insurance company give the room rent for this or not? The patient is there inside the ICU. The patient is there inside the ICU. The attenders are sitting in the patient's room. So why should the insurance company pay for that room now? Is that not a gain for the patients? So this is first question. The other most interesting and sometimes very funny thing is, the attenders, when they are there in the room, they cannot sit idle. What will they be doing? There is no entertainment. You cannot go out and this and all that. What is the only entertainment available? Eating, right? So they will order everything. Chicken biryani, mutton biryani, this, that, and this puff, that puff, and all those things. 5 times coffee, and there'll be visitors also, even for them coffee. So 50 coffees will go in a single day. 4 chicken biryanis in a single day. How can the insurance company pay for all those? Right? So these are the problems which will come. And finally, when the bill comes, they will say, the insurance company will say, see, the bill is for 1 lakh rupees. I can give you only 50,000 rupees because only 50,000 was spent in the ICU. Rest of the 50,000, you were sitting in the room, you were eating and all those things. I cannot give you the money. There will be a fight. So we need to be very careful when we are looking at these kind of claims. So the principle behind this, why the insurance company will not pay for all these additional things, is based on this particular pure principle. It is a very highly professional and pure principle in terms of ethics and performance, which is the indemnity principle. So we need to understand this. And again, most of the health insurance plans, we can go cashless or we can go with reimbursement. Cashless is where, in case the admission is happening in a pre-planned surgery, let's say, for example, for my mom, we had gone for her cataract surgery. So it is a pre-planned surgery. So we checked out with Arvind Eye Hospital, checked out when we can do that, their convenience, our convenience, any pre-preparation that needs to be done. Approval from the insurance company was done. So they gave the approval, and then we fixed up a date and then went there. So totally cashless. We never had to pay anything. Where we chose the lens in advance. They gave the choice for different lenses. So we chose one which is comfortable for her because she's very active and all those. So very sensitive lenses and very, fragile lenses are not suitable for her. So those kind of things we chose and finally decided saying, okay, this is going to be the cost. Insurance company gives a pre-approval and we don't pay any money. We come back very comfortably. So that is a cashless thing. But this cannot be planned at all times. What if there is an emergency? I had one claim, one of my friends, and in fact my other business partner, he had a heart attack suddenly, so he had to be admitted immediately. So now there is no planned thing. There is an immediate there is an emergency. We don't even know whether that particular hospital is part of the network. We just admit him there. The nearest hospital, just go and admit him there. That's it. So here, in these cases, maybe we will need to pay the money upfront and then submit the bill and then claim back. So that is called the reimbursement part. And in between, I think it was some 2 years ago. In fact, even I was recommending that we all should go in for reimbursement-based plans. Reason was, many of the hospitals, they were based on the cover available, they were increasing the bills. If you have cover for 10 lakhs, the bill will be for 10 lakhs. If you have bill for, cover for 5 lakhs, bill will be for 5 lakhs. This kind of unethical practice was happening. And then the insurance companies fought back. They said, entire hospitals in Mumbai, we will not give. Entire hospitals in Chennai, we will not give. Delhi, we will not give. Those kind of agitation was happening. Now all that is settled down, and hospitals also have realized that they cannot, just like that, jack up the bills and all those things. Now reimbursement based thing is actually not necessary. We can go for cashless systems also. So normally age entry for typical health insurance plan is from the age of 18, but there are covers for children also. Right from age 1, we can go for covers. And in case you are looking at plans where the age is more than 65, then medical tests will be mandatorily need to be done. Children can be covered along with their parents. So that is how the cover will be given. So adults plus the child. So they can be linked and then given the cover. And what if the child is just born? Then there is an automatic cover till the renewal of the plan. So that is how it is done. In case the born child has any congenital diseases or illnesses at the time of birth itself, then those will not be covered. So those are the basic plan in a health insurance thing. So there are a lot of technical terms in the health insurance plan because of the indemnity and other things. The term life insurance, hardly any technical things. Only one question asked, as we were discussed earlier, is the life there or not? Is the person alive or not? So that will be the only question asked there. Here there are so many technical terms. Insurance, we can take it for individual or multi-individual. What does that mean? I can take it for one person, or individually I can take it for my wife, my daughter, and also for my son. So that is possible. That is multi-individual. Or I can take it as a family floater. Family floater means I don't take it separately for individual persons. I take one cover for the family as a whole, and that can be shared among the people. So instead of taking 3 lakhs cover each for different people, I take, let's say, 15 lakhs together for the entire family. So those are called the family floater, and even one person can claim up to 15 lakhs. So that is the advantage of a family floater. But there are some disadvantages also in a family floater. What if you travel frequently, and what if the entire family meets with an accident at a single point in time? Because then that 15 lakhs needs to be shared among all the persons. So then there is a problem. In typically COVID times, if one person is going to be infected, then all of them are going to be infected, and that total family floater cover will not be enough for a given person. So then that also becomes a problem. So family floater, if you are considering, then we need to take it for significantly higher cover. Only then it will make sense. So that is the sum assured part. So how much of cover am I looking at? And one more thing which is essential for all the health insurance plan is that hospitalization is essential. This is something that we need to understand. Normal health insurance plans are not for consulting services. I go and I'm having fever, so I go to a doctor. He gives me some prescriptions. I buy the medicines. Can I go and claim in a hospital insurance plan? No, I cannot do that. I need to have been admitted in a hospital for a minimum 24 hours. There are, of course, some exemptions to this. There are always rules and then exemptions to the rules. There are a huge list of procedures which are called daycare procedures. Like I was talking to you about my mom's cataract operation. This is a daycare procedure nowadays. You don't have to be admitted in a hospital. There is no need for staying there for 24 hours. Typically for my mom, we walked in at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we came back home by, I think, around 1 o'clock. For lunch, she was having it at home. But that is part of the daycare coverage facilities. And for that also, the complete claim is given. But in case of illness, there is a fever, somebody fainted. So those kind of things, you need to, for making a claim, the doctor should say, yes, admit this person, and then only it can come to claim. If the doctor says, no need for admission, I'm just prescribing these medicines, go home and take the medicines, we cannot claim those. So this is something that sublimits is something that we need to be very careful with. Today we have covers for health insurance plans which are going into very high covers, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 25 lakhs, and those kind of things. So when we are talking about very high covers, the sublimits generally don't apply. It again depends on company to company, things vary. Normally the room rent, there will be a limit, 1% of the sum assured. So if you have a cover of 3 lakhs, then the room rent will be limited to only 3,000 rupees per day. It's not the total room rent, it will be room rent per day. So that will be 1% typically. But today's plans, you have much higher covers. Normally, when you are looking at 25 lakhs or 50 lakhs covers and all that, they will say no limit, no sublimit. Let it be for ICU, let it be for doctorate charges, doctor charges, let it be for room, this thing, they'll say no sublimits. But when we are looking at lesser covers, 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs and those things, then these sublimit rules will be applying. For ICU, normally 2%. Normally approved room will be single room with AC. And today we have no sublimit plans also. Nursing charges, again, there may be some sublimits. And particularly we need to be careful when we are looking at health insurance plan for senior citizens. So when we are looking at senior citizens, there can be something called as a co-pay, which means when the bill is for, let's say, 1,000 rupees, and we say the co-pay is 20%, then 200 rupees need to be paid by us, and 800 rupees will be paid by the company. But when it is 1,000 rupees, it's okay. But what if the bill was 1 lakh rupees? then it means 20,000 rupees we have to pay. The insurance company will pay only for 80,000 rupees. So senior citizens, we need to be careful on conditions on whether there is any co-pay involved. So we'll look at how we can avoid the co-pay and all those things also. So normally ambulance is covered, medicines are getting covered. Now this is again a very important thing, waiting period or exclusion period. The first 30 days of a start of health insurance plan, we cannot do any claims unless it is an accident. Accidents, they're always covered. But any disease related claims, we cannot do for the first 30 days. Today, during the COVID times, there are some companies which says specifically for COVID, in case you contract that after 15 days also, we will give you the claim. They are available only with certain companies. Not all companies are doing that. These are specially been released after the COVID started. 15 days waiting period for, especially for COVID. All the other diseases are still at 30 days. So additional diseases, every 12 months, there will be some additional diseases which are getting covered. And generally this exclusion or waiting period is 48 months. Today, there are companies which are going in for exclusion period of only 2 years. Some companies are offering it only for 3 years. So those are all from different companies. And based on that, the premium and other things also will be vary. So every 12 months, there will be some new set of illnesses which are getting added for the coverage. And if we don't have any claim for 48 months, then we can rest assured that all illnesses will be covered. All surgeries, all illnesses, everything will be covered. So this part is very important, particularly for salaried employees. Generally, what happens is when I'm employed in an organization, the organization will give us some health insurance cover. And we think that that is enough. But the problem starts once we are close to retirement. Close to retirement, what happens? We are already aged and there will always be some body parts which are starting to fail. And at that time, after retirement, when we go and ask for an insurance plan, fresh insurance plan, then most of the times we are already ill and we will have so many exclusions which will never be covered in the plans. So we need to be very careful that at least by the time we cross 50, we should have a separate insurance plan on our own name. We should not depend only on the company's insurance part. We should always have health insurance plan separately, so that we have sufficient time to get these exclusion periods, to pass these exclusion periods without any claims. That is mandatory. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Vinod, all critical illnesses are covered under health insurance. There are again different plans. They might give it as in case you take up an add-on, then separately for a health insurance plan, they can give you a declared value, or otherwise, as part of the insurance cover, they will give it to you. Long-term illness cover, Mr. Satish, yes, some of the illnesses like dialysis, in case there is a problem related to kidney failure, then the dialysis can be covered as a daycare procedure. That can be given. Similarly, for cancer, when there is chemotherapy which is given maybe once in a month or once in 2 months, those are also will be getting covered as a daycare facility itself, as long as subject to the upper limit. So that is where we need to take up some good covers. Pre-existing diseases, again, see, pre-existing disease means I'm already having some illnesses when I'm taking the plan itself. Let's say diabetes. So then the insurance company might come in and say, again, similar to the exclusion period, they might come in and say that for some of these illnesses, they might say throughout this particular life of the plan, I will not give you any cover for that particular case. Or they might say, okay, for the next 48 years, 48 months, I'm excluding these. And in case you don't have any claims related to this, after that, I will cover for pre-existing illness also. So that is something that we need to look for. pre and post hospitalization. Now, there may be certain illnesses where we can go in for a planned surgery, but before going in for the surgery, I still need to take up some medicines for certain days before I can go for the surgery itself. So there are some cases like that. So for those kind of plans, then we can have those treatments and tests and all those things 30 days prior to the surgery and 60 days after the surgery. They can all be clubbed and we can make claims for all these also. So that is again the part of the pre and post hospitalization part. Yes, Mr. Anandhakrishnan, you can look at cancer insurance plans. There are standalone cancer insurance plans from life insurance companies and also from health insurance, general insurance companies. They are worth it, particularly when you have a family history related to cancer. Then it is better you take it up. They will be asking about previous history and all those things, but it is worth considering, specifically when you have any previous history in terms of your elders having cancers. And basically, yeah, pre and post we have seen. Daycare procedures, we have already been discussing about that. Organ donor. So in case there is a failure of lungs or liver, kidney kind of things, then somebody has to donate those body parts for us. Because now there are two surgeries. One is when I am sick, I need I am the recipient. Then I will need to be operated upon. And somebody who is donating it, that person is also being operated upon. So there are two surgeries now. So then what do we do? Who will pay for the person who is donating? So there are separate limits for organ donors also. Normally, when we have something like 50,000 rupees, 75,000 rupees, or 1 lakh rupees, fixed amounts which are given for the organ donors. Yeah, sometimes based on previous history, there can be some rejections also. But again, we need to check out with the thing. Maybe we can discuss this offline. I'll take up your case history and then we will analyze which company can take it up. We'll take it up offline, Mr. Anandhakrishnan. I'll take your entire history in terms of which company rejected, what reasons and all those things. And then we can check up with different companies, find out which company will take it up. And then we will submit your case to that company, see if that will get accepted for you. Fine. So now coming on to Ayush. Now, many companies have started offering benefits related to Ayush. Ayush is Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. Because not everyone is believing in the allopathic treatment, or I don't want all those steroids and other kind of thing. I want to go in for a softer and more the traditional form of this thing. So then we can use the Ayush treatment. And again, depending upon different companies, there are some sublimits for Ayush. Some companies say, no, the entire sum assured also, if you want, you can go in for these kind of treatments. But again, we need to be careful in this, that there are only certain hospitals which are clearly defined where we need to take these treatments. We cannot just go to the spa near our house and say, they did some massage and other things and I got the relief, now pay the money for the spa there. That is not possible. Or we cannot go to the neighborhood yoga teacher and then say, he treated me with yoga and give me the money now. That is not possible. So there are certain specified hospitals where this treatment is accepted and where the insurance company would have shortlisted them saying, here this treatment is treatment and claims I will settle. So we need to be careful when we are looking at the Ayush this thing. But there are sufficiently large number of hospitals which are approved by the insurance company for Ayush treatment. So we don't have to worry. In almost all the cities, there are 1 or 2 hospitals. So we can make use of the facilities in those hospitals. That's a very good question, Mr. Vinod. Yes, health insurance plans, we definitely need to have, apart from the riders that we have in life insurance plans. Life insurance, generally the riders will be only for critical illnesses. They will not support you for COVID. They will not support you for an accident related survival and things like that. So those kind of things, we can get them covered only using the health insurance plans. And both of them together will benefit the family. So that is what we need to do. So I cannot neglect the benefit of a critical illness cover in a life insurance plan. At the same time, that is also required. At the same time, I also need good cover under my health insurance plan. Both are required. When the family and me, I get a good lump sum because of a critical illness, why should I miss out on that benefit? So that is what I'm looking at. No claim bonus. Again, traditionally, people have been giving discounts on the premium. That was how the old companies, earlier days, were doing it. Nowadays, the insurance companies are giving you increased sum assured. So if you don't make any claims, then maybe they will add 5% of the base sum assured to you. 10% they will add. And this can go up to 50%. Sometimes they say 100% of the sum assured. So it gets added to the sum assured. So this is more of a benefit rather than just a decrease in the premium, which can be a few hundred rupees. Now we are getting more claimability, so which is much better for us in case of a claim. That is what is happening nowadays. Nursing at home, again, this also is possible because when the hospital says, see, you're not so critical and there is no need for any doctors and this thing and all those things. So better you go home. We will send a nurse along with you. You pay for the nurse and she will take care of you from home itself. Why should you stay here and difficulty for attenders, food and all those things? It's not so critical. Medicines, again, we will prescribe, the nurse will administer it at home itself. So recover from home. Why should you come into the hospital? So these are also covered. So that is the beauty of health insurance plans. So stroke related paralysis. So there is no critical thing, but it's just the movement which is being difficult. And most of the times we will recover from these kind of paralysis. So just some physiotherapy and things like that on a regular basis. So that we can slowly recover from that. And there is no need for us to stay inside the hospital. So stroke related paralysis or recovery from an accident. So surgery, everything is done. So it's only the recovery. Yes, it is painful, but what is the point in just staying in the hospital? It's not so critical. So we can continue to stay in the hospital. Typically a maximum of 15 days and 3,000 rupees per day can be claimed. Convalescence or recovery benefit. Again, this is in case we are there in the hospital for more than 10 days, then a lump sum amount is given once. Hospital daily cash. So these are the defined benefit which is available in the health insurance part. So when we say hospital cash, they might say, okay, for every day in the hospital, I'll give you 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So basically for the attender to come and go, for carrying food from home, somebody will be coming here, moving there and all those things. And for the attender to eat in the canteen there. So all those benefits can be taken care of from that one lump sum which is given on a daily basis. Of course, the insurance company is not going to come and give it to you on a daily basis. When the bill is getting settled, this also will be paid off. So that is how it will be done. So this is again a very interesting thing which has come up in recent times, reload or reset. So this is typically happening in the floater kind of a plans where, as I was telling you, the cover may not be enough when more number of people are getting hurt or falling sick in the same family. So when the cover is not enough, then what do I do? Then many of these companies are now coming up with saying, I will reset the cover itself. Let's say we have taken cover for 10 lakhs and there was one claim for 5 lakhs already done. And then one other family member is falling sick and now the bill is for 7 lakhs. Now what do we do? Then there are some companies which say on the fly, I will reset. You've taken cover only for 10 lakhs, but now the bill is for 12 lakhs. And so since the 10 lakhs is already taken care of in the bill, I will reset it for another 10 lakhs and that additional 2 lakhs also will be paid. Some companies do this very magnanimously. There are a few other companies which says, no, see, I'll give you only up to 10 lakhs now because your total cover itself is only for 10 lakhs. That 2 lakhs, additional 2 lakhs I will not give, but I will reset it after this bill. So in case some other family member, the third case comes up during the same year then that bill I will give you. But now this two bills, one for 5, another for 7, I will give you total of 10 lakhs. So the total 10 lakhs is used up. But in case there is a third claim, either from the same two people or from somebody else, then I will consider it again also. So there are different forms of reload and reset currently available. Okay, periodic health checkup again. There are some benefits people give you. If you don't make any claim for 1 or 2 years, then maybe a master health checkup with certain defined things, some 5 tests, or I mean, not typically 5. Normally they go for some 15 tests, 17 tests, 22 tests kind of things. They will do the test on their cost and then give us the report. It's good for them and good for us also. That can be done. Yes, Mr. Satish, in case, yeah, at the time of taking the policy, there is no problem. But after that, there is a problem. Then the claim is will be payable, but not within 4 to 5 months. That again depends upon the illness. So supposing that is where that exclusion period comes in. For example, cataract is payable only after 2 years because cataract takes time to develop. So it cannot happen within 6 months, 5 months, 1 year kind of things. So, but it can develop over 2 years. So cataract will typically be payable after 2 years. Tonsillitis again payable after 1 year. So because tonsils again, it doesn't develop immediately. Knee pain or knee replacement surgery payable after 3 years. So those are things which will come up. So diabetes again after 3, 4, 5 months, definitely no. But after 2, 3 years, yes, that can be considered because diabetes again does not happen spontaneously. It takes some time, except for maybe pregnant women. That is a typically diabetic. Pregnancy related diabetes can come in, but it again typically goes off after the delivery also. So that is a different case altogether. But typical normal diabetes does not come on. Suddenly. It takes some time. So again, we can look at some hospital cash benefits as an add-on and things like that. So there are certain plans itself which says, I will give you hospital cash benefits. So there is one particular plan that I'm taking now which says for different covers on a daily basis. Let's say it can be for 1,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees kind of things. And for different days also they will pay. You just choose the amount. Let's say I've chosen for 5,000 rupees and 180 days in a year. So this plan, what happens is for every normal day of hospitalization, they will give flat amount of 5,000 rupees. They don't bother what the illness, what is the bill and all those things. They'll say every day, if you are hospitalized, I will give you 5,000 rupees. And in case the person is staying in ICU, then it will become 10,000 rupees into 2. So that is a flat benefit. And you can take define that for number of days also. So if you say, okay, in a year, I want it for 30 days. So up to 30 days in a year, they will give this 5,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. And they can go up to 180 days. Major illness, major accident, you're there for a very long time kind of things. Then for all the 180 days, they will give 5,000 rupees if you are in a normal room. They will give 10,000 rupees if you are in an ICU. So that is how this plans are defined. Those are the hospital cash benefits. Different companies, different things. Now, this is a very important thing that we are going to discuss now. So just stay with me for maybe a bit more longer. Yeah, I think because this is something that we cannot miss out on. Most important in today's this I would call as the climax for today, in fact. So the pre-climax or more, the fight scene was that investment and term plan. This is the climax for today. Top-up plans. Most agents will not talk about top-up plans for you because premium is very less and they need to do all the things related to the normal plan, like taking a medical test, giving us all the documents, running around and all those things. So for an agent, this is of no use. But this is the best use for us, particularly for salaried employees. When the company is already giving you some base cover, we can take up the top-up plans. We should rather take up the top-up plans, particularly in today's conditions. So there is one deductible limit. level, which means for the first, let's say 3 lakhs, the company will not give any money. From 3 lakhs and 1 rupee up to certain level, which is the sum assured, they will give all the money. So that is how the top up plan is designed. So what do I do for the first 3 lakhs? Claim it from your existing plan, which is given by your employer, or from your existing insurance plan. Claim it from that and take only the top up. So now you might ask, why should I take 2 plans? Why should I not take up one single plan for the entire 15 lakhs? The problem is, if I were to take a single plan for 15 lakhs, the premium will be very, 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 very high. But when I take a base plan and then a top up, then the total cost for something like 50% of the total cost, or sometimes even just 25% of the total cost of a base plan, we can have enough cover. So that is the advantage of the top up plan. So top up, again, we can take it as an individual or as a floater plan. And the normal terms are the same as in the normal base plan. So like the waiting period, pre-existing diseases, all those things are as per the normal plan itself. And earlier we had covers going up to 50 lakhs. During the COVID times, people have even come out with 1 crore cover as part of the top-up plans. Now, who will give what? So that also we need to check. So top-ups typically might go for a reimbursement-based thing. Okay, if taken from a different company, because the bill will come only from once from the hospital. So the base plan company, to them we will submit the bill. In turn, they will tell us with a letter saying, see, your cover is only for let's say 3 lakhs, but you have given me bill for 10 lakhs. So for the first 3 lakhs only, I'm giving you the cover. Rest of the bills, I cannot give you the cover. So that will be the letter which will be given by the base plan company. That letter, we can take it to the insurance company which is giving the top up, and they will in turn settle the full amount. So that is how this typical top up claim will happen. But if you have taken it from the same company, then there is chance that we can go without any reimbursement. So this is a typical premium chart from a company. I have hidden the, as per my promise, I'm not here to sell any specific company's policies. So I'm sharing it without showing the company's name. In case any of you are interested, then you can contact me offline, and then we can discuss not only this company, we can discuss which company's plan is best suitable for you, and then we can go for those kind of companies. So now let's take one example. See, this line is the deductible here, which means here the total cover that we are looking at is for 3 lakhs. First 2 lakhs, it will not be paid. This doesn't make much sense. So I will not go for this. What I will do is, I will take up something which is more reasonable, something like this. 15 lakhs of cover, okay, for an individual. And exclusion is, let's say 3 lakhs. First 3 lakhs will not be paid, okay, but the total cover is for 15 lakhs. So that is what we are looking at now in this particular plan. See, let's look out for some reasonable things. Very young age, of course, the premium is going to be less. Let's look at this age, which is the typical age when a problem starts, 36 to 40. Can you look at the premium? Yearly premium. It's not monthly. Look at the beauty of this. Yearly premium for a person who's 36 to 40-year-old, okay, first 3 lakhs will not be paid, but the total cover is for 15 lakhs. The premium to be paid is only 4,185 plus taxes. Let's say 18% tax is GST. Even if you take it as 20%, roughly around 5,000 rupees is all that you pay. 45 up to age of 45, you pay again 4,500 plus another 20%, which is maybe 1,000 rupees, 5,500 rupees. Even for a 50-year-old person, up to age of 50, you pay only 7,200, including taxes, for a cover from 3 lakhs and 1 rupee going up to 15 lakhs. That is the beauty of these plans. This is why agents also don't sell these plans. Very low premium and all the running around. Why should I sell this? That is what happens. Now for a 2-member plan, 2-member is a floating thing. So husband and wife, let's say. And here the age of the highest member is considered for the plan. So let's say the husband's age is 40. Then for two people, husband and wife together, for 15 lakhs, the premium is only 6,691 plus 20%. Let's say plus 18% GST. Isn't it very reasonable? Hardly any expenses, but you get very good covers. And today for COVID times, we are talking about something like 4 lakhs to 5 lakhs per person for just the COVID part, right? Normally the charge we are talking about is something like 40,000 per day, and you'll be admitted for 14 days. So what is the cover that we need to have? Minimum of somewhere around 5 lakhs. 5 to 6 lakhs is the minimum cover that we need to have per person. So for a 2-member team, 15 lakhs will be a good cover. So for 45-year-old age, maybe 8,000 rupees is what I pay as premium. Okay. So 3-member, husband and wife plus 1 child. Again, for then 15 lakhs is not enough. I'll have to look out for 20 lakhs. So let's look out for 20 lakhs, husband and wife plus 1 child, exclusion of 3 lakhs. I pay maybe 10,000 rupees for a year. 45-year-old, I pay maybe 12,000 rupees per year. Up to age of 15, maybe this is 13 plus 2, maybe 15,000 rupees per year. So that is all that I pay. 4-member family. It can go for 5-member family, 6-member family. Parents can be covered. See, even for somebody who's more than 70, we are talking about something like 30,000 rupees per year for a cover from 3 lakhs and 1,000 going up to 15, and that to a 4-member family. On a single member, for 70-year-old person, okay, we are still talking about only 20,000 rupees for cover from 3 lakhs and 1 rupee going up to 15 lakhs. So this is something that we should never miss. Top-up plan. Whatever may be your existing plan, let it be, but take up a top-up plan on top of whatever you have so that we are safe. And once you are crossing 50, ensure that you are taking up a separate plan, maybe 45 also in today's health conditions, maybe 45 also. Just take up a separate plan which is independent of your what do you call company's medical plans. So this is something that we have discussed already. Corporate plans will offer only the basic cover for you as employees. Some of them will maybe cover for your parents and other things also, but I would always recommend having a separate plan for yourself. So let's have a quick poll in terms of what we have understood from today. I'm just launching a quick poll. We'll finish this and then go for your queries also. So quickly answer to this poll, please, for a quick understanding on where we stand, so that I can clarify your doubts also based on this. On the health insurance part, I've just given some 3-4 questions. Only 3 questions now. So 3 very applied questions is what I've brought in, so that our understanding is clear in terms of what we need to do. Excellent, excellent. I'm very happy with the replies that you have put in. I think the purpose of the session is served. I'm personally very satisfied, heartening that you've all understood the concepts in the right way. So I'll just stop the polling and see the results. 4 to 6 lakhs per person, fantastic. Sometimes more than 6 lakhs also, fantastic. It is definitely not that 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, 2.4 lakhs and all those things. It is definitely not enough. So that understanding is very great. I'm very happy that you have understood that. And When I'm aged less than 50 and I already have company provided plan, best thing is to take up a top-up plan. Fantastic. Again, most of you have replied the right answer. I'm aged 50 and above, already have a company provided plan. What should I do? I should take up a, no, here there is some confusion, I guess. I should take up a base plan plus top-up plan. So base plan with very high cover is practically not affordable, even for, particularly when our age is more. Even when we are younger, and if we are taking up a base plan with high cover, it makes sense because the overall premium that I pay will be very less. But again, something that we need to understand is, unlike the term plan, where the premium is fixed for the entire term, life insurance term plan, if I take an insurance plan at a younger age, then there is a big benefit for me because throughout the term, I pay only a smaller premium. But health insurance is not like that. Health insurance is only for 1 year. The contract is only for 1 year that needs to be renewed every year. So based on our health condition, based on our age, the premium will be varying. So when we are older, then automatically the premium keeps going up. So when I'm young, I pay a low premium for a high cover. But the same person, when I'm growing older, automatically the premium also goes higher when I go in for a higher cover. But the advantage there is that I have precedence. I have set up a good precedence that I'm a healthy person. So that advantage always is there. But the premium is not going to decrease. It is always going to be higher. So even when we are younger, it is always better to look out for a good base plan, let's say 5 lakhs as a base plan, and then take up all the rest of the covers as part of the top-up plan itself. So that is the change that I would recommend. So for question number 3, I'm aged 60 and above. I already have a company provided plan. To protect my future health plans, I should do what? I should take up a base plan plus a top-up plan. I don't need to take up a base plan with very high cover because then the premium is going to be very, very high. So fantastic with your participation. I'm happy. So any questions that you would like to have? You can switch on your mic and post your questions, or you can put it in chat. You can also put in your feedback in the chat. I'll appreciate that too.
Sir?
Yes.
Starting, you have mentioned that single premium plan 105%.
Correct.
Can you explain synopsis once again?
Yeah, that is a life insurance plan where people are selling that as a fixed deposit kind of a scheme. Okay. You pay only once. They say, see, life insurance normally we pay for many number of years, right? The premium is paid for many number of years. But nowadays agents are selling this as a one-time deposit kind of a thing. You pay a premium only once, sir. One time you pay 5 lakhs. One time you pay 1 lakh. So that is how that is pitched. Single premium plans.
Okay, okay.
And they say it will grow and we will put it into stock market, or we will give you after 5 years I will give you 1,50,000 if you deposit 1 lakh here now. Or some kind of things are done there. But I don't recommend any of those kind of things because why should I go in for those kind of investment oriented things with an insurance company? And anyway, they are not going to give us a good cover. So what is the point? I might as well put it in if I want a fixed deposit, let me go to a bank or let me put it into a corporate deposit, right? A safe corporate deposit. So there are so many safer corporate deposits. You can go for any of those reputed corporate deposits. Why should I go in for an insurance company's deposit? Not required at all. So that is what I'm saying there.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Again, health insurance plan, is it best either to go for single or family floater? It again depends on the family. Let's say you have very young children and things like that, then maybe a family floater is okay enough, because once a child grows beyond the age of 5 or 6, then they generally don't fall ill. So that way we can always go in for a joint, family floater kind of a plan. Child age 3, again, yes, I think till the child becomes something like 15 or 16, or maybe till the age of 18, you can always include them as part of the floater plan. But once they turn 18, then you can let them go apart and fix them as a separate this thing, because the premium also will be significantly lesser. So that benefit also you will get. Otherwise, even for the child, you will be paying the cost at your age. So when the child is aging, you are also aging, right? So the premium also keeps jumping. So that also can be balanced. So when you are young, I mean, when the child is young, you are also young as a young parent. So the overall premium will be lesser. But when our age also goes up, then the premium also goes up. So that is the time when we need to have a separate plan for the child. So that those balancing we can do dynamically. You already have cover for 2 lakhs, 3 members. 3 members, I think I would recommend at least 15 lakhs as cover. So you can consider a top-up plan from 3 lakhs. I mean, generally 2 lakhs exclusion, the top-up will not work. Most of the companies will have very less cover only for 2 lakhs exclusion. So exclusion generally starts from 3 lakhs only. So 3 lakhs to 15 lakhs you can consider as a top-up. And the company plan, see if you can talk to them and increase that from 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs. Maybe they might ask you to pay some contribution from your side also, Mr. Satish, but still it is worth it. So the company will pay for 2 lakhs, you pay for that additional premium for 3 lakhs. That won't hurt your pocket much. So you can pay that, convert that into 3 lakhs, and then 3 lakhs to 15 lakhs, you can take it as a top-up. That will serve the purpose beautifully. Yes, I will note it down. I'll suggest some plans also for you. Any other queries? So thank you for the session. For tomorrow, I have one homework that you need to do with your family members. Again, I've been putting it on my chat. I would recommend that from today's, of course, from the next 3 sessions, I would recommend that you participate with your spouse or family members. So that way it will be useful for you to implement the plans in a proper way. And from the next session onwards, we'll be talking about different investment avenues and how to look at the financial planning for your family. So it is always better that you come in with your family, so that the benefit will be there for all the family members, and the implementation becomes very easy. So you will all be in the same plane in terms of understanding, and different family members will have different doubts. So you can have all those things clarified also. So that way the proper benefit of the training, the workshop will reach your family, and we can all achieve financial wellness together. So that will be a big success for these workshops as such. So the next session is on Sunday, and that is not in the evening, because evening we will normally be sitting with our TV and all those things. So that is before lunch. So please do join in. I will send the invite tomorrow itself, so that you can plan for the Sunday session. The Sunday session is at 11 o'clock. Okay, so that it doesn't affect your breakfast and also the lunch preparation. So 11 to 12, we will have the Sunday's session. And I will send one homework which is related to budgeting. So you can do your budgeting and then come over for that session, so that it makes more value addition when we are discussing on Sunday. Okay, I'll share the sheet today itself, and we will close the day for today. See you on Sunday, 11 o'clock. All the other sessions again will be in the evening only. But for Sunday, I don't want to spoil your Sunday evening, neither your lunch. So we will have it just before lunch. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.